Habits of an African community. I'll say an African community this time. Guys, were pieces of meat counted? Were pieces of meat counted when cooking? Were they counted in your homes when you are being brought up? Were the pieces of meat are being counted when in the sufuria? When cooking, were the pieces of meat being counted? Yes, meat is still being counted to this day. Pieces of meat, they have to be counted. When you're slicing meat to cook, you have to count those pieces, especially in a family of 8, in a family of 10. And you expect that you buy a kilo of meat or have a kilo of meat or quarter a kilo of meat, and then you are preparing supper, and you expect that that meat is just going to be said to be sliced. The person who is slicing the meat, there has to be somebody else near them to make sure that those count pieces that were sliced are counted. You have to know how many pieces a quarter kilo of meat yields. You have to know how many pieces a half kilo of meat yields, so that when they are cooked, when dividing amongst your 10 siblings, amongst your 5 siblings, you see my habit of scratching my this. I don't scratch the inside, but I keep touching here. I think it's an allergic reaction to my videos. I think whenever I'm doing videos, this is allergic. Oh my god, I know it's a very bad habit, but I keep touching here, guys. Let's talk about this habit of counting pieces of meat. It's humor, guys. It's humor because you'll not allow your sister to go and cook the meat before you see her slicing. If she's the cook that night, you'll make sure that you are near her so that you count the number of pieces. And if your mom is near, she has to say, "Hey, did you slice that meat? And did you count those pieces?" Yes, pieces of meat had to be counted or have to be counted anyway. This is because family members that are feeding on that meat are many. And if it is allowed that one person is going to cook the meat and keep on testing to see if the salt is enough, and the thing she's using the tasting piece, is meat. You can taste, you may be cooking meat with some stew, tomatoes, stew, or with something, and you taste the salt with the stew. But there's that person who cooks and uses that piece of meat as you use it for testing whether the salt is enough. Then you find that salt is not enough. So you add some salt, and you still want to taste again to tell if the salt is enough. So you take a second piece of meat, and you say you are tasting. So by the end of your cooking, you have taken 4 pieces of meat. That is not allowed. Guys, that is not allowed. How can you do, who does that? Who does that? How can you taste meat, 4 pieces of meat while still cooking, 3 pieces of meat while still cooking, even 2, and even 1? That is why meat has to be counted while being sliced. You can imagine, like, the butcheries these days, like, I see them slicing for you. You go and say, okay, I want a kilo of meat, and that butcher man is going to cut the chunk and maybe slice it for you. So when you get home, you don't have to do much, just to put it in the cooking pot, sufuria, and cook. There you are now, counting those pieces before you put them in the soup. And somebody has to be there, because anyway, when dividing food, this is where now the issue is. When food is ready and you are there serving, when you are serving the food, you have to make sure that every person gets an equal number of pieces of meat. If everybody is getting 2 pieces, you have to know, okay, this meat yielded 20 pieces in that half kilo of meat. So those 20 pieces, and because we are 10, everybody has to get two pieces. And if there is a bone, You also have to account for that. And no, but there was a bone, and the bone usually it has to be kept for the boy child if the dad doesn't have the teeth. If the dad has the teeth, you know, those teeth that strong teeth that they can work on the bone nicely. You have to make sure that they are the ones that eat the bone, and that person who is eating the bone will, if the other two people are, if everyone else in the family is getting 2 pieces of meat, that person will get 1 piece, because normally the bone has got some meat hidden in it. So that's why the bone is given to that person who has got the teeth to dig out all the meat that is in the bone. So guys, an African typical habit happening to this day, guys. If you know, you know. Meat pieces have to be counted before they are cooked. And you have to account for all pieces of meat when food is ready. Because if you don't, then some people are going to miss out on meat. So it has to be counted. Did this happen in your African typical homes? And those that are watching from Africa, this is how we live here. And the wealthy ones, the African wealthy, please don't comment badly. Make a sweet comment, because you don't know this thing is happening in homes. The wealthy Africans, this thing is happening in homes. So please make a sweet comment if you have to comment. And for those that know that what I'm talking is true, please make a sweet comment and tell me whether you used to count pieces of meat in your homes. And guys, subscribe to this channel. And if you still count them to this day, do you still count pieces of meat to this day? Subscribe, guys. We are continuing this series of discussing the habits of an African society. Weird habits of an African. And guys, we are going to another weird habit next. So please subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.